Hi guys, and welcome to today's yoga class. And we're going to be focusing on a simple sequence today that's going to alleviate some of the tension and aches and pains that you might be feeling in your lower back. It's something that I know so many people suffer with. So I've just created a sequence today that you can do as many times as you want throughout the week when you just feel like you need to bring a little bit more mobility and movement and flexibility into your body. So all you need for class today is your yoga mat and just something to lift your hips up. So if you have a yoga block, that's excellent. If you don't worry. You can just grab like a big book, or you can grab a pillow or roll up a couple of blankets just so that you can sit your hips on something a little bit higher. So when you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. So we're just going to start by coming to lie on your back. You're just going to bring your feet as wide as your hips, and then let your knees roll in so they're touching each other. You're just going to feel your whole spine press down onto your mat, especially the lower part of your back. So you can just feel that pressing down into the mat. Just going to take a few moments to relax here, to start to allow your muscles to soften and release. Just take a few moments to notice your breath. Breathe a little bit deeper, in and out through your nose. And then from here, you're just going to hug your knees into your chest. So you can either hug them in quite a lot and interlace, like just grab hold of your hands, and then you're just going to bring your lower back down onto the mat and just rock from side to side. If that feels like a little too much and it's difficult, then you're just going to grab your knees with your hands and just not bring them in so high. And then again, you're just going to do the same. Massage your lower back into the mat. I'm just going to start to circle your knees around, drawing big circles. You just feel like you have a little massage into your lower back, and we'll do that on the other side. Going in the other direction. And then we're going to come into happy baby pose. So for this one, you grab hold of the outer edges of your feet. It's like you're pressing your feet up onto the ceiling as you draw your knees down towards your armpits. You're just pressing your lower back into the mat, so you're bringing your tailbone down onto the mat. Now, for some of you, this might feel not nice at all, in which case, like if your shoulders and your head are up off the mat like this, where you're trying to grab hold of your feet, you're going to relax your head and shoulders down, and you're going to grab hold of the backs of your legs and draw your knees down towards the mat. So just see what works for you. And we're just going to take a few breaths here, and you can just rock gently from side to side again. And then you're just going to start to release, and we're going to come up onto your knees, and we're going to take it into a child's pose. So for this one, you're going to have your knees wide and your big toes to touch, and then you just bring your hips back towards your heels, and you're just going to stretch your arms out, lengthening your chest forwards and bringing your forehead down onto the mat. Now, if you're finding that difficult and your hips are a little higher and you can't get your head down to the mat, then this is a perfect opportunity to grab your brick or your book or your pillow, and you're just going to rest your forehead down on the mat. So the idea here in child's pose is it's a simple pose, but it's doing a whole lot. So it's stretching out through your spine, it's releasing through your hips, but at the same time it's an opportunity to relax. So coming into a place where you feel relatively comfortable, And you can just stretch out through your spine as we take nice, full, deep breaths. And as you breathe here, I want you to just visualize that you can send your breath right into your lower back, right into the space in your body where you feel some tightness and tension. And so you're just going to bring your awareness into that as you breathe. And just start to come up onto your hands and knees. We're going to move into some cat-cow, which will bring some movement into your spine. So you want your knees apart here, as wide as your hips, and then your wrists and your shoulders are going to be stacked. And as you take a breath in, you're going to dip your belly down towards the mat. You're going to roll your shoulders back, open your chest, and look up towards the sky. And then as you breathe out, you're going to tuck your pelvis under, round your spine, and look towards your belly button. And we're just going to keep doing that. Moving slowly, inhale, open out, and exhaling as you round. Inhale, open, just feel the movement in your pelvis here as we go back and forth, and then tucking and rounding. And just moving your spine back and forth. We'll take 2 more. And then back to a neutral spine. We're going to come into downward facing dog now. So to begin with, spread your fingers very wide apart. Plant your hands down into the mat. You're going to tuck your toes under, and then keeping a bend in your knees. It's really important, keep your knees bent. You're going to send your hips back, and as you do that, you're lifting your tailbone up as high towards the sky as you can. Drawing your shoulders down your spine and letting your head and neck be relaxed here. So there's a few options. If you can start to straighten your legs without locking out your knees and your spine stays nice and long, then that's perfect. But if by straightening the legs, your weight comes forward and your spine rounds a little bit, then what you're going to do is just bend the knees a little more and just keep practicing sending your weight back. Hips shift back, tailbone lifts up high. And then the last thing to do is pull the pit of your belly in and up. So just stretching out through your spine. And notice how much length you bring into your body here as you do this. I'm going to take a few deep breaths here. I feel like you can keep shifting around, like you can just keep moving, drawing your shoulders down your spine, just so you start to bring more space into your body, and you can come into a place where it feels good and you don't feel stuck and restricted, but you feel free in your body. And then you're just going to bend your knees deeply and look forwards, and you're going to step your feet up to your hands. You're going to have your feet as wide as your hips. You might even want to take them a little wider. You're going to bend your knees, and we're going to come into a forward fold. So you're going to grab hold of your elbows. This is just going to bring space into your lower back. So if you keep your legs straight and your hamstrings are really tight, then this is just going to it's going to hurt your lower back basically, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do. Soften your knees, fold yourself forward, grab hold of your elbows, and we're just going to let the upper body hang. And you can just gently sway yourself from side to side, really letting your upper body feel heavy. So you don't have to feel like you're holding on and you're clenching and you're keeping yourself in a certain position, but a sense of release and a sense of letting go as you hang here and breathe. And then similar, but a little bit different, we're going to stay in the fold. You're going to grab hold of your big toes with your first 2 fingers. Your palms are going to face each other, and you're going to bend your knees really deeply. Find a halfway lift, so a flat back, shoulders draw back. And then you're going to fold yourself in towards your legs. So another forward fold, stretching through your hamstrings, releasing through your lower back. And this is such a great pose to bring traction into your spine and into your neck as well. And take another 3 of your deepest breaths. With your exhales, find more release. And then just start to gently release your hands, and you're just going to bring yourself down to a seated position now. And this might be where you want to grab hold of your brick or your book or whatever you're using to lift your hips a little bit higher. You might find that you don't need it, but it can be a great prop to have to just give you more support, more lift. So basically we're going to come into a pose called Baddha Konasana. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together, and you're just going to let your knees drop apart here. And what we're looking for is we're looking for your pelvis to rotate forwards. So that's going to allow your lower back to release. So if you're being pulled back a little bit and you just can't get that forward rotation, then that's going to be a perfect time for you to sit up on your brick, lift your hips a little bit higher, and that's going to just support you to be able to find that fold forward. So you see what works for you, have a little play, see what feels comfortable, and then we're just going to lift up nice and tall. So you're going to lift up through your spine, and then you're just going to start to fold yourself forward, and you're really leading with your chest and your heart here. You can let your head bow, and we're going to hold this for a few deep breaths. It doesn't matter how far you can come down either. So if it feels best for you to just stay upright and you just move forward a little tiny bit, that's perfect. Don't feel like you need to pull and tug and get yourself as far as you possibly can, because actually that's going to create more stress and more tension in your body. And we're trying to create release and flexibility and movement, but maintaining a stress-free environment as we do that. So just take it to where feels best for you, and we'll hold it for another 5 breaths. And then slowly start to peel yourself up. And we're going to take a pose now where you're going to straighten your right leg out. So it can either be straight ahead, or you can have it on a little bit of an angle, and your left foot's going to come in towards your thigh. You're just going to reach your arms up to the sky, lift up nice and tall, and then we're going to fold forwards over the straight leg. So you can have a bend in your knee here, and if you were sitting on a brick for the pose before, you probably want to stay on a brick for this one. So as you do that, you're extending your chest forwards, you draw your shoulders back, and you're just melting down. You'll feel this in the back of your leg, you'll feel a stretch in your lower back. It might be a subtle stretch, or it might feel a little bit deeper, and then you're just going to breathe here. And again, don't worry about how far you come down. Just fold to where you can and breathe there. And then start to lift yourself up. We're going to switch legs. Left leg starts to straighten out. Reach up nice and tall so you find the lift and the length and the space in your spine. And then fold yourself forward. And slowly start to lift up. The next one we're going to do similar but a little bit different. You're going to bring both of your legs together. They can either be touching, or you can have a little bit of space between the legs, which can feel nicer in the pelvis as you fold for a lot of people. You're just going to reach your arms up to the sky again. You're looking for that forward rotation of your pelvis. So that might mean that you have to bend your knees to be able to do that. So if you're keeping your legs straight, you're folding, and that's just going to dump into your lower back. Bend your knees. Fold forward, chest extends forward, shoulders draw back. You're just going to melt yourself down in towards your legs. And breathe there. And just come to a halfway lift, drawing the shoulders back again. And then we'll just melt down and fold for a few more breaths. And slowly start to peel yourself up. You're just going to come onto your back now. And we're just going to do a little exercise that it both releases through your lower back, but it also brings a lot of strength into your lower back, which is really important as well. So feet are as wide as your hips again, and you should be able to touch your heels more or less with your fingers. And you're just going to press your feet down into the mat. And then you're going to start to draw your hips up, so you're lifting your pelvis up towards the sky. Lifting up, and you'll start to feel your lower back. You'll start to feel as though you're using your muscles. You don't have to worry today how high you come up. You're just starting to pulse up, and then we're slowly going to roll down. And it's like you're rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, nice and slowly. And then we're going to do that again. So slowly peeling up off the mat. Press down into your feet, lift up. Slowly lower yourself down again. Go ahead, do that again. Peel up. Lower back down. We're going to do it one more time, but this time we're going to stay there and we're going to hold it for a few breaths. So press down, peel your pelvis up. And we're just going to hold this for 5 breaths. So as you press into your feet, keep lifting up. You want to feel as though you can squeeze your knees towards each other. Your legs are engaged. Breathe into your belly. And go ahead, start to peel yourself down. And then you're just going to hug your knees into your chest, just like we did at the beginning. And just gently rock from side to side. And then to end, we're just going to take a few moments in final relaxation in Shavasana. You're going to stretch your legs out. Give yourself room here. You want to take your legs wide, your arms away from your sides. Just walk your shoulders away from your ears. Rest your eyes closed and let your whole entire body relax. And a lot of stress and tension is created in the body from living a stressful life. That can be held in your body and in your mind, and Shavasana just allows you to let go of all of that. Find some peace, find some stillness. As you just let the mat underneath you support your body. Start to gently bring some movement back into your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes. Move your head slowly from side to side. And just take a big stretch, so you point through your toes, reach through your fingertips. And hug your knees into your chest. You're just going to roll over onto the right side of your body and bring yourself up gently to a seated position. So that brings us to the end of our class today, working on releasing through your lower back. And you're really going to see the most benefits if you can do this regularly. So if you could do this little sequence a few times a week, amazing. If you could do it more, even better. Basically, anytime you feel like some aches or pains are just coming into your body, or you've been sitting down at maybe your desk all day, just go ahead, pop this video on, stretch through your body, and you'll feel so much better. Thank you very much. See you for the next video. Namaste.